sample code for the baby name generator. So you'll see we have the prompt for it. So I'm going to type in 1 name length that you want for the minimum and maximum, and then the number of names to generate. And then it just prints out the names based on calculations. So you'll see here there's a bunch of names that are random, one that's kind of normal, and Bob. We're looking at the code for the baby name generator. So right now we're looking at the class files from the name set. It's basically just taking the text files that has the boy names and the girl names, and appending the double underscores to the end and the beginning just for easier processing later on. And then we're going to store them in an array list, as you can see here above, and then we'll do that here. So and then just some simple getters and setters. Then we have the actual model, which is 3D array, and we just initialize it here. And then here we're just doing a hash, so that when we get a value, like if we get A, we know where in the model to put it. So like the underscore would correlate to 0, A would be 1, B 2, C 3, etc. So those are pretty simple. Then we have the actual baby name generator class. So in the main method, we get the user input, we initialize the hash, which is relatively just self-explanatory, as we explained before. And then based on the user selection for male or female, we use that particular array. We get the total number of letters in that array, so that we can get we can take the occurrences for the specific letter combinations and divide it by that. And then we just ask the system to generate as many names as the user has requested. So if we go to the generate name, you'll see that we start with a result that's blank, and then we start with a temporary placeholder, and the temporary placeholder is 2 underscores because we prepended them. And then we're going to check to make sure that the next character that the name generator is suggesting is not equal to an underscore. If it is, then we know we've come to the end of our name and we don't need to create any more characters for that particular name. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and look at the weights for that particular sequence. So if we're looking at 2 letters and we look at the possible weights for the letters coming after that, and then we're going to keep summing those up and take a look until one of them exceeds that sum, the random number that we've created here. Once it exceeds it, then we say, as long as that next character isn't equal to the underscore, go ahead and add it to the result. If it is, obviously, then we know we're done, so we don't want it to add to the result. And then the temporary string is actually just a placeholder for the 2 characters every time, so it's just going to keep revolving. And so we're going to take the second character in that temporary string and then add the next character. So that way when we run through this while loop again, it'll use that. And then after you've generated the name, you're going to go ahead and check if the name is a valid length and that the name is unique, so it doesn't already exist in that array. So here are some just simple functions where you're summing the weights that are possible. Basically, you're just taking the array and summing whatever comes after it. Summing the model, again, you're summing the occurrence, the number of combinations. These are all pretty easy and self-explanatory. You're taking a look at the total number of letters and dividing the occurrences by the total number of letters. Getting the distribution is basically you're given either the boy array or the girl array, and you're looking at each 3-letter combo and saying, okay, we want to go ahead and set this. So if we're looking at STE, we want to go to the point where there's S and T in the array, and then find the spot where there's an E and increment that by 1. And then here's just the capitalized name and get user inputs code.